Good morning, everybody. We want first to thank the organizer for the opportunity to participate in this conference. In our presentation, we are going to talk about a little bit of the first iteration of our project. It is the first time that we are working together. Eva Direito, she's an art conservator and designer. I'm Patrícia, microbiologist, and Olga, who is not here, unfortunately, is our art researcher. So we are going to talk a little bit about our art book that is titled Yeasts as We Don't Know Them. So, non-human beings are largely deanimated in Western cultures and perceived as the backdrop of human activities. So at the same time, with the modern modes of consumption and production, we often do not know how specific products have been created and which beings and entities have been involved in the manufacturing of these particular goods. As a partial response to such alienation, we have been working on this art book, the first iteration, Yeasts as We Don't Know Them, as a means to learn about human-yeast interactions and the ways these fungal microbes are used to manufacture different products and substances that are present in our day-to-day life. So in this presentation, we'll first introduce how symbiosis and transcorporeality are guiding notions of our project. Further, we will elaborate on the connection between the art book to these concepts and demonstrate how the book traces yeasts across scales on the level of bodies and in the production of various consumable goods. And finally, we will emphasize the importance of transdisciplinarity that were used because we come from very different backgrounds, the three of us, and it is the first time that we work together in creating this artistic publication. So nowadays, most biologists and microbiologists, they define biological symbiosis as a close, so in direct contact relationship between individuals of two different species, either with positive, negative, or neutral outcomes. And according to this definition, even parasitism or mutualism or commensalism are in this realm of symbiotic relationships. And so as we are going to demonstrate further on, our book engages with this notion in all these different levels. So another vital concept of our project is transcorporeality. So according to this American literary scholar, Stacy Alaimo, transcorporeality is a mode of thinking that considers beings and entities as porous. And this means they are materially and discursively interrelated. So this approach requires understanding that material interchanges across beings and entities is possible, and with this we define lessening the impact of harmful interactions. And within this spirit, our book aims to map these material interchanges across scales and species. So yeasts are unicellular organisms that belong to the fungi kingdom, and there are a lot of them, and there are already a lot of them being described by researchers, more than 1,015 well described, and they exist in every single habitat and every single ecosystem. And this is why many pages of our book are devoted to this idea of the symbiotic natures of yeasts cohabiting with and within other living beings. And among the examples of the yeasts that we mapped in our book are the ones living on the skins of fruits and vegetables and living on animals and human bodies. and we include also those that potentially cause infections. And this is an example of one of the pages of our book where we map one of these. Apart from the widely known Candida albicans and Candida auris, we included also this one, the Cryptococcus neoformans, and another one, the Exophiala dermatitidis, which are less known because they are not as quite spread around, and but they are also very important and related to invasive infections. And although single yeast cells are not visible to the naked eye, in our book we consider bodies and entities as always entangled in these interspecies relations with microbes. So the book also illustrates symbiosis, and literally and metaphorically, via numerous examples of interspecies interactions with yeasts involved in manufacturing various goods. Among them are animal feed and everyday fermented food products, including those known for mylenia. And additionally, much of our book is devoted to the examples of yeasts used in producing pharmaceutical compounds, biofuels, cosmetics, and other chemicals, including, for example, applications for industrial textile treatments and bioremediation solutions. So finally, the book also incorporates examples of engineering yeasts used in research devoted to, for example, manufacturing vaccines, also penicillin and other medical compounds. So we are not sure if these interspecies relationships in the instance with transgenic yeasts are symbiotic in the literal or metaphoric sense, and this is something that we want to think about, and we think all of us must decide. And at this point, as I told you, this is the first iteration of our book. We already have 70 pages, but we plan to extend it to at least double it, to demonstrate this diversity of the interspecies yeast relations across micro and also macro scales. And we want to get to know all these interspecies, but we do not intend to collect all the instances of these interactions with yeasts. What we want to do with this art book is to invite everybody to learn a little bit about some of these microbes and how this interspecies material interchanges.
Thank you. So, as mentioned before, Yeast as We Do Not Know Them was developed in a transdisciplinary symbiotic collaboration between a microbiologist, a designer, and an art researcher. The visuals and content of our book reflect the interplay between the three disciplines and the typical clichés associated with them. In a way, it is quasi-encyclopedic. It provides scientific names of yeast species or yeast families and brief factual descriptions of the way yeasts are used in a specific product or research area, or even related to human bodies. We as well add excerpts of historical records. At the same time, we also use lay names and categories. We loosely divided the examples of human yeast interactions into 6 areas: research, body, drinks, food, industrial, and material. And we presented examples from these 6 categories in random order. The accompanying photographs are as well not meant to scientifically illustrate yeasts or yeast-related diseases or even biotechnologies. The making of such images with colorful backgrounds and brightness was inspired by the work of photographers like Colin Ross and Suzanne Sadoff. These photographers have created bright still lives with ambiguous spatial atmospheres and optical illusions. And by mixing scientific information, lay names, and glossy image, we aim to format factual information in a simple and easy graspable way. Our project's primarily conceptual and visual reference was the book Pig 05049, created in 2007 by the artist Christine Meindersma and designed by Julie Joliat. We liked how this project combines indexing conventions and highly structured information with simple icons, telling photo illustrations, and the cover alluding to swan skin with the identification tag. The title of our project refers to the widely known bioart book, Art as We Don't Know It, published on the occasion of the 10th anniversary of the Finnish Bioart Society in collaboration with Aalto University. This book explores how artists nowadays engage with material culture and natural sciences to develop their transdisciplinary projects. These two examples of created work across disciplines have played an essential role in our work. Overall, yeasts as we do not know them was developed via what we can call a symbiotic collaboration between the practitioners from 3 disciplines. So, to conclude, as we have just briefly demonstrated, first, that our book depicts symbiotic natures of the yeasts cohabiting with and within other living beings. Second, that it also engages with human yeast literal and metaphorical symbiotic relations in producing various consumables. And finally, the book has been developed via a transdisciplinary symbiotic collaboration between a biologist, a designer, and an art researcher. Throughout the book, examples of ancestral, contemporary, technological, mutualistic, and hazardous connections with yeasts invite the audiences to decide how to define symbiosis and what kind of relationships with yeasts are possible. With this project, we do not intend just to merely celebrate human yeast entanglements. We instead invite the audiences to consider the impact of these interrelations. In this way, yeast as we do not know them encourages broader public to navigate the material systems of human yeast relations and context potentially harmful material interchanges. So thank you so much, and we are looking forward for questions if you have them, and do not hesitate to approach us if you want to have a look through the prototype of our book.